you all had a wonderful Christmas last week, and welcome to Mary Elizabeth Jones's Variety Hour with my
I'm
special
speechless. I'm speechless.
with my special
Guest
guest star
star
Kaye
Kaye Lazar.
Lazar.
Yes, yes. Not
So
so special if I'm here every week, but anyway. Actually, Happy New Year, and I hope you see this in the new year. But we're actually hopefully we'll get it in 2020, meaning tonight, when the bell rings. So
right.
so uh, so this I hope you're watching this as part of your New Year regimen, New Year's Eve regimen. That's why we're all dressed up with our when I'm dressed. You look doesn't she look beautiful here? Doesn't she look beautiful all like that? I wish we had a wide shot so we could see what you're looking but you look great from the shoulders up. Nevertheless, I don't even know why I even wore a whole tuxedo. I should have just worn blue jeans under this, so no one's going to see what the rest of it is anyway. But I'm all decked. Even the shoes and the socks and everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
everything's good. Everything looks
Yeah.
good on this.
Yeah.
So I was going to wear a top hat, but then a top hat and a tuxedo, you wind up looking like a Batman villain. All you need is an umbrella and start shooting poison gas out of it or something, or shoot lasers out of it. So 2020, the worst year of all time, is coming to a grinding halt, and it couldn't come soon enough. So, but actually, like a lot of, Mary and I started off the year very well. We went on a cruise. We were the last people, I think, to get off a cruise ship. As soon as we got off, they quarantined it and said, and they still haven't. I think they're kind of opening some of them, but not all of them. But we had a lot of fun eating, dancing, and eating, and swimming, and eating, and eating, and then more eating.
Right. Right.
I tried to figure out. I was on a cruise ship once before, and I was trying to figure out how to pace yourself on a cruise ship. Because you could eat you could eat yourself. You could explode. I mean, you could
Yeah.
literally like a balloon. It's
Right.
just
Right.
just explode. It's
Yeah.
like in that Monty Python movie. What happens is, Mr. Creosote. What happens is, I was trying to figure out, well, what, what can I eat? And I thought, well, fruit and meat. That's all I'm eating. Fruit and meat, and it worked out very
Oh
well.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, fruit cocktail
Mm.
out of the can. That's probably what it really was. I used to love that stuff when you were a kid. Fruit cocktail, Del
Oh
Monte.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to like the cranberry sauce in a can. I was
Cram
like,
oh
oh no. Like
that
on
you
Thanksgiving.
on Thanksgiving it just comes out in one and it's in the shape of the can. You
Right,
pour it,
right,
it's like this giant wax.
right.
It's like it's
Yeah.
made out of purple wax or something, or Jello or something. Oh, my niece. I once went to like a kindergarten, actually a nursery school Thanksgiving dinner. This was many years ago, 20 years ago, and my niece was there. It was she was the one in nursery. I wasn't. I didn't just show up. I was a guest there,
Yeah.
and there was a it was they had that cranberry sauce, and all the kids loved it, but my niece wouldn't eat it. She goes, I don't want any of that purple Jello. I only eat green Jello. She thought it was Jello. She They had a roll, and she goes, and she ate that with butter on it. She goes, I want another muffin. Is that a muffin? And then, but I tell you, there was a real pecking order at this nursery school dinner. The kids all got the dark meat, while the adults that were visiting, like myself, got the white meat. I did say kids love dark. They love the drumstick and the wings and
Right,
the stuff, and
right,
and the
right,
breast. While I don't know
right.
what else is left. No, the breast is white meat. I'm trying to figure out. When you eat a duck, it's all dark meat.
Yeah,
Do you know that?
yeah, yeah.
And when you eat turkey and chicken, there's white meat and dark meat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I never and you know how you know is a real jerk when you this is a real jerk when you bring Kentucky Fried Chicken for everybody and they eat both breasts. Bad enough to eat the one breast. And I have a rule about like when you bring chicken home
Mhm.
and to a group.
Right.
If you eat one breast, you're not allowed to eat any of the other chicken.
Oh, yeah,
You got two or three pieces right there in that big lump, you know.
yeah. Yeah. My favorite parts of the chicken are a thigh
Hmm.
and a leg.
Thigh and the leg. When
They're
I
the
was a
best parts.
kid, that's what I always had. The thigh. In fact, it was like they were connected
Yeah,
together.
right.
And we used to get the shake and bake.
Yeah, I also like the quarter leg too. So
I don't even know what that is. What's the quarter
it's
leg?
kind of like a bigger version of the leg. It's
Okay.
kind of between like a thigh and a leg.
You mean like he's lame or something?
It's like it's kind of
I can
shaped
make a joke
like
about a third leg, but nobody wants to hear it.
yeah.
No. Now, the quarter leg. Now, is it white meat or dark meat or what?
I think that's dark meat. I'm
Fried
not
dark
really
meat.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
kind of.
noticed that the leg is what I could eat when it's cold. Like when I go into a refrigerator and I'm hungry, and you want to reheat chicken.
Right.
If there's only a leg there, I just I'm not gonna waste my time. Wash my face with it and everything.
Yeah.
Speaking of chicken, oh, I got some chicken right here. No, I just bought this chicken. And I just want to show it to everybody.
Oh,
It's
look at
Kevin's.
that.
It's Kevin's chicken.
Really?
I
Oh,
wish
did
I was
you make
making some
that?
money off of
Did
this.
you make
No,
that?
there's my picture with a beard. That's me with a beard on the back there. Don't look too closely. Cilantro lime chicken, Kevin's
Oh
chicken.
man.
Yeah. I always think it's fun. There's
Oh.
actually down in Richmond, there's a Kevin's used car lot.
Yeah.
And you almost want to go there if your name is Kevin.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
You want to go, there's a movie, there's something about we what are we going to do about Kevin or something? We must talk about Kevin. That's I think it's I remember Tilda Swinton was in it. A lot of stuff with Mary in it. Boy, I think Mary is used everywhere.
Wow. Yeah.
Mary, there's a Mary, quite contrary,
Yeah.
and there's Mary. Uh, um, I'm sure there's more than that. I can't think of one right now. You know the Mary stuff.
Yeah.
What's the other Mary stuff?
Mary had a little lamb.
Mary had a little lamb.
There's some other ones.
Mhm. Mary. Oh yeah, grind. Gears are turning.
Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Peter, Paul, and Mary.
We
Yeah.
talked about them earlier in our shows.
It's about every other woman in the Bible is named Mary.
Yeah. Mary Magdalene.
Yeah.
Mary, the mother of Jesus.
Yeah. Mary.
Mary and Martha.
Mary Steinberg. No, you never. That's in a different part of the Bible.
Yeah.
That's the Old Testament. No, I just made that up. Anyway, Mary. Also, Mary is actually a name you see in a lot of. Mary is actually used a lot in other languages. There's Marie,
Yeah.
French for Mary. Maria
It's Spanish for Mary.
is
So,
Maria. I mean,
yes.
but and Italian Maria, and I'm sure there's others. And there's and thus uh, uh, and then I remember when I was growing up, every nun was Sister Mary, Teresa, or Sister Mary,
Mary Catherine,
Catherine
or
or something.
whoever it was.
And and so I figured it out. So my mom said, "Your name has to be Mary to be a nun."
What?
So that really limits it. What if you want to be a nun and your name's not Mary? And she said, "Well, then then you can change your name to Mary and then become a nun." And it's okay. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Now getting back to chicken, I gotta tell you something about chicken. Um, I we've eaten at a place, Chicken Fiesta, where they have this rotisserie chicken.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, well, I
And
love that
yeah,
place.
and let me tell you something. I just love rotisserie
Me
chicken.
too.
I
do
think it's my
too.
favorite.
That's my favorite.
I think it's my favorite type of chicken.
Me too.
See, a lot in common. So,
Yeah.
And I like all chicken. I like fried chicken.
Yeah, I love fried chicken too. So
But the problem I have with fried chicken is that I can't eat. Pizza I could eat slice after slice
yeah,
after slice after slice
yeah,
to a point.
yeah.
But fried chicken, after the second piece of chicken, I don't want to eat anymore. Second piece of fried chicken.
Right,
And I couldn't understand why. It's boiled in fat or oil or something. So that's why it's fried. It's breaded. So
right,
there's a lot to eat on fried chicken.
right.
So rotisserie chicken is I don't know how they make it. They cook it on a spit and they twirl it around.
Right.
You see it in the stores. I guess they baste it to keep it moist, and it is moist,
Mhm.
and it's so good.
Ah, I know.
So
I
anyway,
love it.
there's a grocery store in town. Everyone knows a Kroger,
Yeah,
and
of course.
they every once in a while they have a sale on rotisserie chicken. It's rotisserie chicken or fried chicken. I usually buy one of each, two for $10, but you have to buy both of them. It's about $8 if you buy one of them. So oh, well, there's a bargain here. If I'm going to feed a lot of people, I better, or if I want to eat chicken for the
Right,
next 2 weeks.
right.
So that's
Yeah,
how fast chicken goes in my house.
yeah.
2 weeks, one chicken. So anyway, you could buy two for $10. Okay,
Uh-huh.
which is a good deal. Good deal. Okay, I go to Walmart and and this is on sale at Kroger. They have regular priced rotisserie chicken at 4.50. I mean,
Wow.
in other words, you only have to buy one and it's less than the chicken on sale.
Yeah, yeah.
So I said, oh, I happened to be in Walmart, so I said I saw, it's right beside the checkout. So I go and I get the rotisserie chicken, and it's nice and warm. It smells
Right.
good and everything. And I take it home, and I said, well, I'll eat some of it now and put the rest in the refrigerator.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't eat all this right now. So I eat a
Right.
piece, and I eat a piece, I eat a piece, I eat a piece. I'm not kidding you. I ate almost half the chicken right at at the
Wow.
sink while
Wow.
I was tearing it apart to put it on a piece of paper, on a
Mm.
paper plate and
It's
stuff.
addicting, trust me.
Oh, not only is it addicting, I had to stop myself. I had to stop myself after half the chicken because I didn't want to be that guy
Yeah,
who eats a whole chicken before he puts it in the refrigerator
yeah.
and eats it above and
Right,
not even eat it on a plate. I was eating it
right.
above a
Yeah,
kitchen sink.
yeah.
It was an ugly sight. Glad you weren't there to see me. And so I was just scarfing this chicken down, and and I actually always, I always want, even though you could eat a whole chicken in
Mhm.
one sitting, probably it's better that you don't.
Yeah,
Stop and save the rest for tomorrow.
exactly, exactly.
Same with pizza or Chinese food when you bring it
Right.
home.
Yeah,
You can eat all that stuff right away, but
yeah,
the best thing to do is like eat half of a dinner at a restaurant, and then get a box and bring it
yeah,
home, which is what I try to do. With pizza, I could eat a lot of,
yeah.
but I usually stop myself after three. Even three slices is a lot for me.
Right. Mhm.
And then take the rest of it home.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
never. I think I've said this once before. I've never been to a drive-through. I've never had food delivered to me. To me, the joy of food is either going out and getting it, or going and get it and sitting down and eating it,
Yeah,
or eating it with friends.
yeah.
You know, because of and they say, well, you eat every meal like that. I said, no, I eat at home a lot, and there's always a can of soup
Yeah,
or a can of fruit cocktail.
yeah.
People like when they like now that the winter is coming in, people go to the grocery store to get bread and milk.
Oh
When
yeah,
when they hear it might snow,
yeah.
so they want to, and then you can't get bread and milk. It's all off the shelves.
Right, right.
But I always believe that no, don't go out and get bread and milk. Eat.
Yeah,
There's a cupboard you have with all these cans of soup, and and there's a freezer with all these TV dinners
yeah,
that you've
yeah.
been waiting to eat all this time and you haven't eaten yet. So, so that's what that's is that now's the time to hold yourself up and eat that food anyway. I remember some guy was I heard I think I told you some movie some guy said you don't want to you don't want to spend your all day you don't want to spend the rest of your life eating hot pockets all day.
Yeah.
And made it sound awful. Them eating hot pockets all day.
Yeah.
The guy says, actually, that sounds like a good idea. I think I'd enjoy that a lot.
Right.
And then the guy who said it said, yeah, I think you're right. It would be a lot of fun eating nothing but hot pockets all the time. All he needs a microwave.
Yeah.
Now, and Mary made me some nice soup and some cookies that for the New Year. In fact, the soup I'm looking forward to. It has black-eyed peas and tomatoes,
Mhm.
which is what you eat on. So I'm not even going to eat it before 2020. I'm going to eat it on New Year's Day. So tell me, so when you cook, do you? I guess soup you usually have to use a pot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But do you use anything but a see man like me only uses a microwave for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless we're boiling water for
Yeah.
some
I
for pasta.
use. Sometimes I use a pot on the stove,
Yeah.
and sometimes I use my instant pot. So like my
Instant.
quick cooker. So
Okay.
yeah, and then I cook it there. But I have a special pot that I cook it in.
Mm.
So it's from Pampered Chef.
Oh,
I
okay.
got it. I had it
All
for
that
about
good stuff.
yeah, I had it for about a year, and it's been doing wonders for me.
Okay. Pampered chef.
Yes.
Yeah, I always see them. I always see the guy with the pots and pans at the state fair every year. I was like, what? God, he must be doing something right.
Yes. Yes. And
But I never stayed there long enough for them to give me food because
right.
I think they award the here have some of the
Right.
here have some,
Yeah. 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 They have in
have my
those.
panini sandwich, have a piece of my panini sandwich here,
Yeah.
whatever they make.
Yeah. 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 That's what I made my soup out of.
Yes,
I love to cook,
yeah.
so
Do you when you go to the fair, state fair, do you buy that powdered dip that they always sell that you could make at home?
yeah.
That people are always sticking.
I get samples of those.
Yeah, well, you get samples,
They're actually really good though.
but I mean, when you would you make them at home and then chill 'em?
I don't make them, but I just
I
kind of see them and just get a sample. So
sample of them.
just like
Okay.
the peanuts, they have those Virginia peanuts there,
Oh yeah.
and you
Oh, they
get
get
like
mad at me
different.
there for just eating too many peanuts.
Yeah,
You know,
I think they did that with me once.
yeah, I know. I just try this peanut. How about this peanut?
Yeah,
They should just have like one canister I could buy with all the different the chili peanut, the
yeah,
the wasabi peanut, the chocolate peanut.
yeah. I mean,
Just smush them all together in one thing.
yeah,
Oh, they're like jelly beans. Oh, I know what this one is.
yeah. I think they got mad at me one time, but
Well, they got no. Well, I usually when people get mad at me,
they weren't
it's
really mad at
usually
me,
when people
but
no when people get mad at me, it's usually their fault.
yeah,
But I saw the error of my ways was eating peanuts all the time. I say you're eating too many peanuts. I say yeah you're right. I should be buying them.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
And
think
I
they,
always and because I go to the state fair so much, as
yeah,
everyone knows, I usually wind up the last day I'm there to buy a whole lot of peanuts.
right, right.
So it all worth it at the end.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
guy who one of the guys who runs the Virginia Peanuts thing told me that peanuts are his favorite food,
Oh yeah.
and he said he could eat peanuts all day
Oh
long.
yeah. Ooh.
And you know what? I could eat
They're
peanuts.
addicting.
I
They're
could eat
addicting
peanuts
though.
all day long.
They're addicting. I
Yeah.
mean, I like the Virginia peanuts.
Yeah.
There's a store in the mall
Yeah.
called
Yeah.
Virginia something.
Virginia, and they sell the Virginia peanuts.
They have all
Virginia,
kinds of other
actually,
stuff
Virginia peanut.
too.
I mean, the peanuts from Virginia are among the best. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
like you buy. The Planters peanuts are good at the store. They're all good.
Right, yeah.
But then sometimes I will give like as a gift peanuts from Virginia, and then the guy will open them. Usually a male friend of mine, he'll open them right away and start eating them. He
Huh?
goes, I said, you can eat peanuts anytime, Planters
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff. And he says, yeah, but they're not like this.
Yeah.
These are
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I love and And we gotta celebrate the new year
Yes.
with some champagne. Except our champagne tastes like ginger ale and seltzer.
Yeah.
So
Good.
have some.
Yes. Hallelujah.
You should this lovely woman drinks so much ginger ale that she should. She actually did drink Canada Dry. It's really well.
It's like my favorite soda.
Yeah.
That's about the only soda I ever drink.
Well, I always drink like seltzer water. I drink seltzer water. Uh, oh, and wait, here's to a wonderful to all of you and to Mary and myself, and from Mary and myself, a wonderful 2021. It can't get any worse.
That's right.
L'chaim. Salud. Cheers. Sláinte
Yacha.
means health
Health.
in Gaelic.
It's a good health.
L'chaim means life,
Hmm.
and in Hebrew. And the old joke is Freddie Roman has. He says that he has an uncle that's doing l'chaim in San Quentin. All right,
All right.
so we'll just enjoy our New Year's Eve, and I wish we're like Dick Clark and Ryan Seacrest. Only you're a lot better looking than some Ryan Seacrest.
I do like Dick Clark though, because I grew up on Dick Clark.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, Dick Clark. Dick Clark was had
a stroke.
yeah, and he lived a long time
And he
with it, like
started
10 years.
he
He
started
started making a
talking
few
funny
appearances.
as years went on when he did the New
Well, he
Year's.
never came kind of
Yeah.
recovered. I mean, he probably was fine physically, but he
Mhm.
never regained his speech like he did. And Dick Clark was I always have to say this about Dick Clark. Dick Clark was one of the richest men in show business because he produced so many
Right.
shows.
Yes.
Almost any show he appeared on, he produced and had his and it was all business. He, the people who worked with him said he wasn't friendly or I mean they not that he wasn't friendly, it's just that he was all he
Right.
cared about was getting the show. He was the first one to pioneer in TV lip syncing. American Bandstand, everyone who appeared on there had to lip sync.
Yeah.
Everybody, except for one person, that was Jerry Lee Lewis appeared on there and refused to lip sync. And they said, "Well, just put the microphone next to the you want me to pretend to playing the piano? Well, I actually will play the piano. I don't need a band, and I will sing whatever hitting you like."
Right.
And that was the only time they didn't lip sync. The also it was important to note that Dick Clark wasn't a big fan of rock and roll.
Hmm.
He was like our parents' age, and he liked old stuff.
Yeah.
But money. He knew that promoting performers and perform. He had a pretty good end of his professional career. He did that wonderful show with the bloopers and practical jokes.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
and and before then he actually figured out a way to get them because it was very hard to get those bloopers because you had to
Right.
pay the actors that were shown in them, and a lot of them didn't want them seen because they didn't
Right.
want people to see them blowing lines and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I think eventually they things got, they people started to have more of a sense of humor about themselves and started to allow the bloopers to be on there, and producers let them to. And but they were very hard to before Dick Clark. You rarely saw bloopers on the. Now that's it's actually not. If you work it out right, you can make a very entertaining show, and he did that. They would also do with Ed McMahon on the same show commercials from around the world and funny local commercials, and I guess you could check that. And then they would always have a practical joke on a famous celebrity, which is always good on the
Right.
show.
Right.
So bloopers and practical jokes was the name of it. Commercials, bloopers, and practical jokes. Yeah,
Right.
and it
Ed
was
McMahon did it with him too.
yeah. Well, Ed McMahon did the commercials,
Oh
and he
yeah.
did the bloopers. Dick
Yeah. It's
Clark.
been a while since I've seen the show. So.
See, Dick Clark, you have to remember, was a sort of like Ed Sullivan. He didn't really have any real talent.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was just a guy who promoted talent and everything. So, uh, so, uh, and uh, so So anyway, I found out a whole bunch of stuff about 2020.
Mhm.
We do the show on a computer,
Yes.
and I mean obviously you're watching it on a computer, but we do it. We don't use a camera or anything. It's basically just one long take we do, and I kind of like it that way. Two close-ups, talk, discussion, and try not to fool around with too many other things like music or anything. We talk about music,
Yeah, yeah.
but we try to keep it all just talking. And I
Mhm.
do a couple more shows with other people. And so and 2020, I kind of enjoy doing this type of show.
Yes.
And I found out this is the best type of show for me to do.
Yes.
Cause I've been on other shows and they try to get it more technical and try to get it more fancy. And I said, "Well, if you want technical and fancy,
Mhm.
go to the movies. Go see a George Lucas movie. Go see Steven Spielberg movie."
Right.
We try to do it real simple, and it's been good. So anyway, but the my computer is wearing out, and so far it does this part all right.
Mhm.
But like a lot of things are breaking down on my computer, like the keyboard. I can't do certain letters. That's weird.
Right.
The letters everyone uses, like C and N.
Uh-huh.
Why couldn't it have been X? 'Cause I rarely have to use an X
Right. Right.
or a Q. A Q.
Yeah.
But so I saw in like a what movie was it? Like a Sherlock Holmes movie or
Mhm.
something, where they knew what the password to a keyboard was
Mhm.
because they knew from the numbers that was
Right.
pushed hard, and there was that the ones that had actually some wear on them, that
Mm.
those were the numbers that were on, and he used some sort of like laser thing or something
Yeah.
to figure that out. But so things are breaking it down on my computer. So I bought a new computer, which I'm still in the box. I'm still staring at it. I don't know, because I'm still
Yeah.
using the old computer. But I found out something about computers that I paid very little for this computer. I mean, like only a couple of $100 rather than in the old days you'd spend almost
Right.
$1,000 for a similar computer.
Right.
You don't spend that much now, but you can spend like maybe $500 or $600 on
Yeah.
a computer. So I have this $200 computer, a little more than 200, like $210. So what happened was, you know what it doesn't have? That that part where you put the disc in it,
Oh
and it's very
yeah.
rickety, but you put the
Yeah.
disc in it, and
Oh okay.
you could actually burn a CD, or
Oh
watch a CD if
yeah.
you're stuck or something, or DVD. I mean, it's
Right.
very good, but the
Yeah.
new computers don't. The new computer I had for $200 does not have that. So,
Mm.
so I said, well, maybe I'll bring it back and get a more expensive one that has that in there. Well,
Right.
I go to the computer store, and the models they have now, the new models, don't have that at all. Even the $500 ones don't have it. So I said, man, that's an important thing for me because I'm still burning CDs on it. It's still good that even if you never use it, it's still good to have on there. People might give you a CD and said, "So watch this right away." I don't have or I can't hook up my CD. But
Right.
luckily, on a Black Friday, probably 3 years ago, I bought a DVD CD writer, which you hook up to your computer,
Yeah, yeah.
which you can do on my new computer. So now I'm still in this burning of CD game. Have it. So that part. So in other words, they now they're just making computers a screen, a keyboard, and that's it. Maybe what we're doing the camera part,
Right.
which we'll still do.
Right.
I almost used the new computer last week.
Right.
Actually, I did take it out of the box, and I haven't really used it, but I wanted to see how the camera worked. So I turned on the camera, and it was dimmer. It looked awful. So I
Mm.
said, "Oh man." So then I tried it on again like 2 days ago, and it looked fine. So I said, "I
Mm.
wonder why it would look bad." See, I always feel when the computer or my car or anything, or computer or car is not working right, it's always my fault. Something I'm not doing. Something I'm not doing right. I gotta tell you, wild story. My dad is old man. He's in his 90s, and he has a tablet, a Amazon tablet, and he got all these billings from it for Amazon Music and
Wow.
Amazon Extra Time
Wow.
and and listen, when you're in your 90s, you don't need all this stuff.
Yeah.
I told him just stick to YouTube. YouTube is
Mm.
free. Just watch your videos on YouTube, which he does. But this is what happened, and make sure you know this with older people in your family, or people who are not very
Right.
computer literate.
Yeah.
They will like anybody learning a computer. You start playing it, you're enjoying it, and then all of a sudden you can't get out of something. So you start pushing all these buttons to get out of it. Eventually, you have to call somebody. The kid with the teenager, the teenager
Right.
has to come and straighten it out for
Right.
you.
Right. Right.
Every 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 family has an IT person, and that person is usually the grandson.
Yeah. I remember one time years ago when my grandfather was alive.
Mhm.
He just got a new. He was just getting a new cell phone.
Yes.
And he always wanted me to come up to help him every
Yeah.
time. He's like, Mary, can you come fix what is this thing? How do I get this off or something like that?
I could fix any computer with one finger. Did you know that? Can you help me here? Anyway, one
Lord
finger.
Jesus,
Anyway,
hallelujah.
so what happened was, so 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 I don't so I didn't know. So I called up the Amazon people.
Uh-huh.
My dad, no one in my family orders anything from Amazon. I think
Uh-huh.
it's the evil empire, but that's not. But I mean, I will buy like a DVD or something, but I don't get my groceries delivered through Amazon like a
Yeah.
lot of people, and no one in my family does. I mean, so my
Right.
dad. Why would my dad? Now, when you have the Amazon Fire tablet, it makes it so easy to order stuff from Amazon. You could, when you're trying to dig yourself out of a hole, you push all these buttons to get out, and it goes, "Do you want to stay and order more?" No. And then no means yes, and then it says, "Are you sure about all this stuff?" Then
Yeah.
you push yes, and then of course they bill you. He didn't even know how they got his credit card number. I said they kind of probably know. They probably have your credit card. But Amazon has my credit card number. Whenever I order anything from eBay or Amazon, he says, "You want to use this number?" And yeah, maybe that's not a good idea. Maybe I should just keep punching it in every time I do it. But anyway, but this is the wild part. So they had been billing him for like 3 or 4 months, 4.99 and 9.90, so $15 a
Wow.
month on stuff he wasn't using, and he doesn't use any online um, subscriptions to magazines. We still get at our house
Right.
paper magazines,
Yeah.
and he can't even read all of those.
Uh,
For a man 94, he's actually doing quite well learning,
yeah.
new stuff like a tablet and stuff. But let's face it, he spent 90 years never learning the internet. It's not gonna be high on his priorities. But then when I called up a woman from India, I mean from Amazon, I think she was from India.
Yeah.
When I called, and she was very nice, and she cleared it all up. She canceled and sent, given the age and given the situation.
Yeah.
I actually had to, tell her, "Oh, I love Amazon. Amazon has been always good to me, and they have been,
Yeah.
but they never billed me $15 a month." So they said he also has a subscription. Listen to this. He also has a subscription to National Geographic. And it's National Geographic,
Wow.
and not the book, not the magazine, but online, so he could look at
Right.
the pictures online. I said, my dad, we never even had National Geographic that much. I think one year we had it. It was so expensive when I was a kid. Dad has no interest in National Geographic unless he's gotten in his old age. He's starting to like to look at the naked native women in Africa with their chips in their lips
Right,
and his
right.
rings on their necks.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he likes. I don't know. So I said, no, cancel that, cancel that, and they canceled that too. We didn't even know he would be. And he said, I didn't order anything from
Well, at
National
least,
Geographic.
they were nice enough to cancel it for him.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
what happened was the credit card company canceled the first month. They
Yeah.
forgave the debt.
Right.
But you have to realize if it's Amazon
Right.
or a magazine subscription or a newspaper subscription, that's not going to, because they're going to bill you the next month, and then the next month you have to
Right.
actually go to the source and cancel it.
Right.
So that's what he did. That's what he did. So anyway, so I told him just stick to music, and YouTube is free. And speaking of music, if you have any like music you'd like to present for the coming year,
Yes.
2021.
Yes, I do. And I have quite a few here that
Yeah.
I like to introduce you to.
One of these days she's gonna get a CD player, and then watch out. Right now she's still in LPs. You see all these LPs.
Yeah. The LPs are my best.
The LPs. They have a nice warm. It sounds like a campfire sometimes when you hear the snap, crackle, and pop.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I wake up every morning with I hear snap, crackle, and pop. It's not my cereal, it's my bones. All right, here we go.
All
What are
right.
we going to start with?
The Platters. Platters.
Platters.
These were This was a very popular group back in the 1950s, and they're a really good group too. My grandparents introduced me to this group. So.
My dad, I mentioned my dad, he's not a big rock and roll fan, but I used to say, was there any songs in the 1950s you liked? And he said, and he would mention maybe 3 songs that he liked, and they were all by the Platters. I think The Great Pretender,
Oh yeah, I think this is
and
on here
well,
too.
those are the greatest hits. Yeah,
Yeah.
The Great Pretender, My Prayer, and probably something else. Yeah, and yeah, he really and the Platters. They once came to Richmond in the 1980s, and I was very excited to go see them. No, not in the 90s. Yeah, I think it was 1980s. And what happened was I was too young. I wasn't 18 yet, and
Right.
thus I had to. They said this is a nightclub. You have to be 18 to go see the Platters. So I said, what? Well, so I didn't get to see the Platters.
Yeah.
But then I found out years later that those weren't these people.
Right.
They were people. Sadly, I think the Platters were one of those bands that the producers
Oh, yeah.
trained younger people to sing like them, and
Yeah.
just to sing all their songs.
Right, yeah.
But it would have been nice. It was basically Platters. You've heard of Elvis imitators.
Yeah.
They were Platters imitators.
Right.
Actually, there was a band that came to, I think, Rockets, and Question Mark and the Mysterians. They had the song 96
Oh
Tears.
yeah, I know that one.
And they came there, and what happened was they were a defunct group, and they said, why are they there? And then this actually happened in Richmond.
Hmm.
In New York or California somewhere, the the original singer for the group, the Question Mark guy, came and said, these people are a mockery. They're pretending to be us when they're not us. And they had a cease and desist order for them. You have to worry a lot about a lot of times these rock and roll shows. I remember seeing a group called the Tokens, and they had the song "Lion Sleeps at Night." And then I saw it again, and they were very good. And then I saw it again, and there were different guys that were the Tokens. And they actually had and I'd seen the show, and they had a different script, but they were they had this, but they were, older guys you would think would have been singing in the 1950s or so,
Wow, yeah.
but they weren't. They were. I mean, how could it be if I see the band the second time and they're they're
Yeah.
different guys,
Right,
different
right.
old guys. I'm usually pretty good at
Yeah,
identifying people,
yeah.
and usually if you see a band like the Platters or so, and you see one old guy who's probably in his 70s, that guy is probably the only original member of the group,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
the others are new members. Yes,
Right, right.
in years to come, they're going to. I heard Guar from Richmond, and also Kiss. There's going to be a few bands like the Village People that it's not so important who plays who's in the band. They're just going to have the people wearing those costumes singing those songs. It's
Right.
actually Kiss has already done it already. Kiss has the two main singers, but the two other singers are gone, and
I like
they were
Kiss.
replaced.
Yeah.
Oh, Kiss. Weren't
Kiss
they
is
something?
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You have any Kiss back there?
Yeah, I got like two of them
Okay,
back
we'll,
there.
we'll talk about Kiss maybe in
Yeah,
2021. Yeah,
yeah,
because I have
yeah.
a whole long speech about Kiss. I
Right,
have a long speech about a lot of bands.
right.
But the Platters, but the original Platters are great,
Yes.
and these songs are wonderful. Why don't you read
These
them
are
out?
original.
Why
These
don't you
are
read? Why
original.
don't you the original recordings?
Yes, these are original. So
Where are the songs
it's
on there?
got The Great Pretender, Twilight Time, Smoke Gets in Your Eyes, The Magic Touch, Enchanted, My Prayer, Only You, Remember When, Heaven on Earth, and I'm Sorry.
Yeah, those are all Money in the Bank. Those songs.
Yeah,
And if you're a big fan of we talk about the Mills Brothers, you're a big fan of the Ink Spots. The
yeah,
Platters were the next.
right,
They influenced doo wop, and the Platters are the quintessential doo wop band,
right,
and they're very good. So
right,
I think
yeah.
you'll enjoy that if you ever go and listen to the Platters. All
Okay,
right,
all
all right,
right.
that was wonderful.
And this one is a really good album. It's called Boz Skaggs.
Boz Skaggs.
He was popular back in the late 70s.
Boz is still around, still
Yeah,
recording.
yeah,
Yeah,
and he did a hit called Lowdown,
Lowdown.
which is on here too.
He
So
wrote some good songs too. He wrote a
yeah,
song called "We're All Alone." It's a big hit
yeah,
for Rita Coolidge.
yeah.
Lido Shuffle, I remember that. Lowdown is so good.
I think it's on here. I
Yeah,
think the leader.
that's the album I
Yeah,
think most
yeah, it
people,
is
when
on
they think
here.
of
Yeah,
Boz Scaggs, but they're all good. Boz
yeah,
Scaggs in recent years, it's important to note, has his albums aren't aren't of original material. He sings like Frank Sinatra type songs in
right,
his own style, and they're
right,
and they're very good. You listen to him and say, "Wow, that guy is good."
right.
And then you realize, but the voice is familiar, but I never heard that person sing jazz before. Then you look at the label. Oh, but that's Boz Scaggs.
Yeah, he also did a song from Urban Cowboy called "Look What You've Done to Me."
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
that's a good song too. So
Well, Boz Skaggs is really good, and Boz. I remember the first time I actually saw him perform. I'd heard his songs on the radio, but I didn't know what he looked like or anything. And he was very just like me, all
mhm.
very stylish, all wore
Yeah,
suits and ties and black hair. And I wish my hair was as black.
yeah,
It's still black, but he it was a he was so good. I saw him on Saturday Night Live. He was the musical guest
yeah, yeah,
back in the day.
yeah.
And Boz Skaggs came to Richmond. I mean, when I saw him was not that long ago, probably about 7 or 8 years ago. Now listen to this. He came. It was like this old time rock and roll show,
Right.
and it was Boz Skaggs, Michael McDonald from the Doobie Brothers,
Oh
sings
yeah, I
all the
like
hits with it,
him. Yeah.
and then Donald Fagen from Steely Dan.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, Boz Skaggs has a lot of hits. Michael McDonald has a lot of hits,
Yes. Yes.
and especially with the Doobie Brothers. And
Right.
then and Walter and not Walter Becker, the other one, Donald Fagen has a lot of hits with Steely Dan. So it
Yeah.
said, how long is this show going to be? Like 3 or 4 hours long? It turned out the show was only about an hour and a half long. And the thing was, this is how it
Oh,
worked out.
right.
And a lot of people were kind of mad about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boz and Michael McDonald and Donald Fagen all came out together
Right.
and just never left the stage. And
Hmm.
they sang it was old time rock and roll show. They sang old
Right.
time rock and rolls. They sang Beach Boys songs. They sang Chuck Berry songs, sang Little Richard songs,
Mm,
sang Elvis songs,
right.
Beatles songs, I think. But the
Right.
craziest thing was, I think people wanted to hear Boz sing his songs. I think they wanted to hear Steely Dan guys
Oh,
sing his songs. I
yeah.
think they wanted to hear Dewey Brothers
Oh,
guys sing his
yeah.
songs.
Oh,
And I
definitely.
think I think each of them sang no more, and I'm not kidding you, no more than two songs from their their original band. And I don't even think it was their biggest hits, you know. Dewey
Right.
Brothers, so many hits. I
I
don't I
know.
the ones I wanted Michael McDonald sing, he didn't sing. I do remember that. Boz Skaggs, I think, sang Low Down.
Right.
But the other song I don't know. I can't remember what it was.
Right. Right.
And Donald Fagen sang, I think, Ricky Don't Lose That Number or
Oh,
something.
I love that
Yeah, I
one.
mean, but that was the only. I mean, you go see Steely Dan or a guy from Steely Dan, you expect to hear
Right.
the whole rigmarole.
I know. I know.
But it was good to see Boz, and they were all in good form
Yeah.
singing. So
Yeah.
yeah. I was very happy to see Donald Fagen. I
Yeah.
think that's where I went.
Right.
But Boz and Michael McDonald are good too. But that's my encounter with Boz Skaggs.
Yeah. Boz Skaggs, everybody.
Boz Skaggs. Very good.
I want to get out. I have a really good album to show you. That's
All
one
right.
of my things.
Oh, I can. I'm at the edge of my seat. I really am at the edge of my seat. I want to, because if I go like, so I'm on the edge of my seat so you
Yeah.
can see me. All right.
Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder.
If any of you Stevie Wonder fans out here, this album is awesome. I love all of his albums. I got pretty much all of his albums.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this one I'm showing you now is called Intervisions.
Intervision.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is a good one.
Now, when did it come out?
It came out 1970. Let's see.
In the 70s, early 70s, late
Yeah,
70s.
I can look inside the record
Yeah.
to see. It was 1973.
1973.
Yeah, so
Before I was born.
yeah.
All right, now tell me what songs to look out for on on that album. Because
Too
he has so many hits, Steve Wonder. I'm sure a couple of them are on there.
right. Too High,
Too high.
Visions,
Hmm.
Living for the City,
Yeah, I know that one.
Golden Lady, Higher Ground,
Oh yeah.
Jesus Children of America,
Hmm.
All in Love is Fair, Don't you worry about a thing,
Oh yeah, that's good.
and he's Mr. Know It All.
Let me tell you, Stevie Wonder was. Um, let's see. That was yeah. I only know the songs from the radio. I don't. I don't have any Stevie Wonder albums, and he's good, but he's not who I listen to. And I remember him on award shows all the time. Even Eddie Murphy used to make fun of him on award
I love
shows.
Stevie Wonder.
He used to make these long speeches about
Yeah,
how what a great artist he was, almost like Kanye West would do now,
yeah.
and we got kind of tired of it. And Eddie Murphy was a little cruder. He said, "Just take your award and leave."
I've always, see, without growing up, I've always been a big fan of Stevie Wonder.
Well, people, I mean, he is. I
So,
mean, the quality is there, Stevie
yeah,
Wonder.
yeah. I
Stevie
mean,
Wonder. Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder still makes good music,
yes,
and I mean new music.
right.
And last big hit I remember him doing was the song "I Just Called to Say I Love You,"
I
which
love
was,
that
and that was
one.
back in the 80s, I guess.
1984,
84.
and it also was from the Woman in Red.
The Woman in Red,
Yeah.
Gene Wilder movie. Yeah,
Yes.
won the Oscar, I think, for best song.
Oh.
But what was crazy about that, they said the first blind man to win an Oscar for a movie was Stevie Wonder. A visual means, and Stevie Wonder also there's also a sadly there was a story that he was going to get his eyesight back.
Oh yeah.
Someone willed them his eyes that they're on their deathbed or something, and said, and everyone was so excited. And I said, listen, sadly, it's not going to happen because the optic nerve, once that's destroyed, and happened when he was a kid or baby, it happens.
I think he
you
was.
you 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 cannot now the cornea or the cataract in the front of the eye, you can fix, but you can't fix. I mean, not now. Maybe in years to come, technology will repair the optic nerve to make it useful again. But as it turns out, now Stevie Wonder's still
Right.
sightless. Yeah,
Right. Yeah. I heard when he was born, he became blind when he was in the incubator.
incubator. That happens a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So that made him blind.
That is why,
Right.
and incubators are terrible places for
Yeah.
babies. Uh, I asked my mom. My mom has lots of children. Said any of us in the incubator? She goes, no, I wouldn't let them. And she was, well, I mean, we were. I think my mom was a pretty healthy woman to have all her children, and thus we were healthy babies. It's incubators are important, but they have to be watched for something like that because that actually happened to a friend of mine. An incubator lost his eyesight
Oh,
as a baby. So,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah, that's Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder of what else can I tell you about Stevie Wonder?
He's
I've never seen Stevie Wonder.
he started becoming professional when he was 12 years old.
That's right. Fingertips was
But
his
yeah,
big
that
hit.
was his first #1 hit was Fingertips.
Finger, it's a
And
good
he was
song.
12 years old when he made it.
Yes, yes.
It was back in 1963, I think.
Yeah, and he was
Something like that.
he was on the Ed Sullivan show and
Yes.
everything. Yeah.
And then all the little girls were screaming.
That's
I
doesn't take
know
much for
that I
little
know that's normal stuff,
that doesn't
but
take much for little girls to scream.
right.
I wish they'd scream when I walk in. But never did.
So
There was a little girl in my neighborhood that used to scream all the time. I walk in, she's ah! Then the milkman comes, ah! The mailman comes, ah! She was actually the sister of a friend of mine.
okay,
And she
yeah.
was a little girl. I mean, she must have been 4 and I was 6.
Right, yeah. So Stevie Wonder, everyone.
Stevie Wonder.
Yeah. I just can't stop laughing. Yeah, I just
Always
can't
leave them
stop
laughing.
Yeah.
That's how I kept the bullies away when I was a kid.
Right.
Just if you can't beat up someone that makes you laugh.
Yeah. The next
All right,
album,
here we go.
Ray Charles.
Oh yeah, Ray Charles.
Crying time again. This is a good album, right?
Yeah. You know, I've never heard a bad Ray Charles album.
Me neither.
There's even if I don't know any. I mean,
I have
even
a
if
few more of his stuff.
his late career, he had original songs and
Right.
everything, and they were good too. I mean, they weren't his hits, but they were still worth listening to.
Right.
And tell me the songs on there, because I could talk about Ray Charles all the time.
This one, Crying Times. No Use Crying. Let's Go Get Stoned. Going Down Slow. Peace of Mind. Tears. Drifting Blues. We don't.
I'm getting depressed just listening.
We
to
don't see eye to eye. You're in for a big surprise. You're just about to lose your clown. Don't you think I ought to know?
Yeah.
And you've got a problem.
You've got a problem. Story of my life.
Yeah.
Only usually said to me. Anyway.
We're on a laughing jack
I've never been
today.
able to turn the tables on anybody.
Yeah, we're on a laughing jack today, so we can't stop laughing.
I know.
It's hard. It's hard to stop.
So Crying Time is really I'd say you can tell by the blue album cover. It's all sad songs. So
it's a good one though. It's a good album for me.
you know, my dad told me I never really paid too much when I was a little kid. Ray Charles kind of over my head. Ray Charles a little too adult when you're a little kid. You just want to hear like the Sesame Street songs and stuff.
Yeah.
The TV theme songs. And Ray Charles, I was told by my dad, he said, "You gotta listen to Ray Charles, a really good singer." And I said, oh, I didn't really like him. And I eventually liked him. And I love him now. And what happened was I said, "Why is Ray Charles so good?" And he said, "I'll tell you what. You know that singing they do in churches, that like soul, gospel singing and all that? He said, trouble is, a lot of the songs in a church are just, religious songs, and they are only you can only hear them in the church. He would take that same type of singing, Ray Charles, and sing, popular songs like "Crying Time" or or even country songs like "I Can't Stop Loving You"
Yeah.
and "Take These Chains from My Heart," "Your Cheating Heart."
Right.
He would sing. In other words, he would take any song, and this is very important to note. He could take any song, sing it, and it becomes a Ray Charles song.
Right.
Doesn't matter that it used to be a disco song or a blues song or a country music song or a jazz song or Broadway number. He sang it, and the way he sang was just like a singer in a church would. A guy. Now, when you go to church, you sing. I'm sure you have really good singers there.
Yes.
Yeah, they sing like Ray Charles
Mhm.
or Aretha Franklin or people like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
If you want to be religious, you better learn how to sing because they always ask you to sing sooner or later.
yeah.
In fact, a lot of your best, obviously a lot of your best singers like Ray Charles and stuff started in the church.
Right.
I think
Right.
the Neville brothers in New Orleans, they're
Yeah.
Catholics and they sang in the church choir
Mhm.
in the New Orleans.
Right.
And
Right.
Ray Charles, I saw him twice. Once at the what's now the Aldrin, it was the mosque in those days,
Mhm.
and I was so excited to see Ray Charles. Second time I saw Ray Charles, after seeing him the first time, it wasn't so exciting to see him again. But everyone there who was seeing him for the first time was great. It was part of the big event in one summer in the 1990s, and it was probably the biggest crowd I ever saw at a place called Festival Park, which is right where
Wow.
the Coliseum
Ooh.
meets what was the Sixth Street
Wow.
Marketplace,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he was great. He
Wow.
sang all his hits, and it was a free show. So
Yeah.
that
Of course.
first one I paid for, the
Oh,
second one I saw
nice. Okay.
free. Yeah.
Great. I love
I
that.
uh, I don't
All
know anyone
right.
who's I know someone who met Ray Charles said
Mm.
didn't have a good time with him, but said you would think he's not as friendly as he is on television. But
Yeah.
Ray Charles, of course they made a movie about Ray Charles
Yeah.
and won an Oscar for Jamie Foxx. But
Right.
Ray Charles, who was still alive at the time, I think he died before the movie was finished, recorded all the new vocals for Jamie Foxx to sing.
All right.
And so I guess they felt if the real Ray Charles is here, he might as well sing it. He can sing better than Jamie Foxx does.
Right.
But there was uh, oh, by the way, um, Ray Charles and Johnny Cash, they both had movies made about them,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
and they're not all that different. The movies.
They're pretty much alike, I
Yeah,
think.
the drug problems, women problems, marital
Yeah. Oh
problems.
yeah.
And what always struck me in the movie about Ray Charles and the movie about Johnny Cash was there comes a point where their first wife says, "Why do you always have to perform so much? Why are you always busy?
Yeah.
You should be home with the kids and you want to know something? In the case of Ray Charles, in the case of Johnny Cash, they they probably would have been a little happier had they stayed home a little more and enjoyed their
Yeah.
kids more,
Yeah.
but they wouldn't be the big stars that they were that we
Right.
all enjoy.
Right. Yeah.
They kind of almost sacrificed their home life for their public life. So
Right. Right.
I think
Right.
the same with Willie Nelson. They said Willie Nelson is very hard
Oh
to get him
yeah.
off the road. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ray and you see that in the movie Ray Charles. Ray Charles also is important to note in the movie about Ray Charles when it's over, when the movie ends, he still was a popular singer for the next 40 years
Yeah.
anyway. It wasn't like it like ends. I think it ends in 1970, and then he was still performing, I guess, in 2010. So yeah,
Right.
so next 40 years
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
he was still around. So anyway,
Yeah.
that's
Ray
I don't know when
Charles.
I don't know when he died, but Ray Charles,
Charles.
one of the greatest, one of the greatest.
Yes.
You have one more?
I got one more.
Okay.
This is this is one of the albums I actually grew up with back in the 1980s.
All right. Big Finish.
You probably remember this one.
Yeah.
Culture Club This is Boy George. Remember Boy
Who
George?
is that?
Boy George.
Of course, it's Boy George.
Duh. His group was called the Culture Club.
They were. They had probably the biggest, probably since the Beatles. I never heard of a band so popular all at once than the Culture Club.
Yeah.
They had maybe their first, and they had them pretty in fast succession, 3 albums,
Mhm.
and they were all had big hits. People loved Boy George. People, their songs were so good, and also Boy George did a lot to. Let's face it, there weren't a whole lot of guys that looked like Boy George in your town in show business.
Yeah.
So he kind of got people familiar with alternative lifestyles
Right.
and everything, and dressing, and it's certainly dressing the way he did and
Right.
everything.
Right.
And then he
Right.
was a very good singer, very good
Yeah.
singer and everything. Boy George, Boy George, sadly, after initial success, he didn't do so well. He
Yeah.
got involved in drugs, so bad involved in drugs that he was working in New York, I think, cleaning up garbage, and people saw and they didn't recognize Boy George because he wore a wig. All those shows, he's bald.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boy, he's premature bald. But you always hope that maybe 2021 is the year Boy George comes back.
Yeah.
George O'Dowd. It's important that I love this. I was living in Ireland at the time, and Ronald Reagan came, and Ronald Reagan was part Irish at Reagan, and everyone there was a half the people were upset about they didn't like Ronald Reagan, American, coming back to Ireland and they didn't like me either. That's another story. I'll tell you about that because I was an American. There was a sort of
Right.
anti-American thing going on,
Right. Right.
and they said, well. He said, why do we have to honor Ronald Reagan, the President of the United States, just because he's Irish? We should be honoring Boy George, who is of Irish descent. I think his parents were from Ireland, and his name was George O'Dowd, and he's from Tipperary, around the same place that Ronald Reagan's people were from. So
Yeah.
that's the only thing I have to say
Yeah.
about Culture Club and Boy George. I never saw them in person. For one thing, when they were popular, I couldn't afford the tickets to
Yeah.
see them. They were very. Now I could probably see Boy George
Yeah.
if I wanted to. He should be on. I would love to see him on the comeback trail. So
Yeah.
that's Boy George.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about Boy George and Culture Club?
I grew up listening to this. I had this album since I was little. Okay. I think my parents bought it. One of my parents.
Yeah.
And they knew that I liked music back in the day. So they bought me this album. They bought me a Cyndi Lauper album, which
Oh,
I still
yeah.
have. So and they bought me a Madonna album and Michael Jackson album.
Thriller.
Yeah, Thriller and Bad.
And Off the Wall.
Yeah.
Everyone had the Thriller and Off the Wall albums. They were just so
Yes.
good.
I
And
have.
and Prince too.
Yeah, I have all of them. So
Yeah.
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 So
In fact, you go to yard sales and you go to thrift stores, you still see these albums.
yeah. Yeah.
So
So
yeah. So and Culture Club is one of those
right.
5 icons of the 1980s.
Right.
Madonna, like you said, Madonna
Yes.
and Michael Jackson and Culture Club. Yeah.
Yes. This is a good album though.
A few others.
Yeah.
So we have come to the end of 2020, Mary.
Yes.
And are you excited about 2021?
I am.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you look forward to? Of
I am looking forward to starting fresh.
course.
Yeah, of course. Duh.
I mean, of course that we've sunk so low.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
2020.
Yeah.
It's like no other year.
Yeah.
It's not going to get better immediately, but we do have
Yes,
a
exactly.
vaccine.
Yeah, we got a vaccine. We had to, they had to go through and all that stuff.
2
So.
friends of mine have gotten the vaccine already.
Oh, they did.
I mean, they work in the hospitals
Yeah.
and with old people, so they've gotten it. So,
Uh-huh.
friend of mine, listen to this. Friend of mine said, "I'm not going to get the vaccine. I'm not going to get the vaccine." I said, "You're not going to get the vaccine?" He's like close to my age, and I said, he said, "Well, I'll get the vaccine, but first I wanted to see how everyone else if everyone
Yeah.
else, whenever if it starts killing people, more people than the flu, then I'm not going to take it. I said, listen, you and I are so far down the list of the people who are going to get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be the old people, the healthcare workers, the politicians, all these, maybe the rich people, all that stuff. So by the time they come to us, all those people will know how
Yeah.
well they did.
Exactly. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't mind waiting in line. I
I
just want to
don't
stay
either.
healthy. I just want
Yeah.
to stay
Yeah.
healthy.
Exactly.
Actually, I
Yeah.
have no problem with the vaccine. In fact,
Right.
if you had someone right here to give it to me, I'd take it right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So,
have you taken any shots?
not lately.
I'm not saying if you have you taken your shots. I'm saying yeah, I roll with my shots. No, what happened was I had a lot of shots this year.
Mm.
I got two shingle shots and a flu shot, but not the
Mm.
coronavirus flu, just the typical flu shot you
Yeah.
get in the fall. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so I'm somewhat ready for other things, but not
Yeah.
coronavirus.
Yeah.
But hopefully, just wear your mask. We're not out of this yet.
Yeah.
Wash your hands.
Yeah. Wash your hands. Wear your mask out in public.
Take a
Okay.
take a bath.
And yeah, take a bath. Of course. Well,
Wash
I take a
behind your
bath every.
ears.
Yeah, I take a bath every day. So
Blow your nose, but not on me.
Yeah.
I was, it's nice that everyone's now so clean lately.
Yeah.
People are like shamed into being clean now. It used to be you went to school and you saw people with filthy hair,
Yeah.
and bad breath,
Oh yeah.
and no
Ew.
and not using deodorant.
Yeah.
And now if you see that person now, say, stay away from me. I don't want to get your disease.
Right.
Before then, you just kind of suffered them.
Right. Right. Right.
But I'm so happy that we made it through together. We made it through healthy, you and me. And here's to 2021. 21 to you,
Yeah.
Mary,
Yeah.
and to all of you. Have a happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And may God bless and thank you for tuning in. Love you all. God bless.